My name is Petri Saunen. I'm the CEO of TELLUS International, a global management consulting company. I'm going to talk about our business model canvas workshop for Microsoft partners. And what I want to do first is to give the reasoning and the motivation for this workshop and what kind of things that we have seen among Microsoft partners during the past few years. So first of all, the change in the ecosystem, specifically for Microsoft partners, the impact is across the board. It's impacting every single type of Microsoft partner. So if you are an independent software vendor, you will have to look at the cloud models. If you are a system integrator, you have to look at the ways where you can build IP besides selling your projects. If you are a managed service provider, you need to be identifying new applications that you can provide to your clientele. And if you are a licensed solution provider, you need to find a way to change your revenue model. The common denominator for all different partner types is the need to build a cloud and app business. It could be an extension of your business, or it could be a brand net new business that you are starting from scratch. The biggest change that we are seeing when working with tens and tens of Microsoft partners is the change in the revenue model. We are moving towards a subscription-based economy, and that's causing a lot of challenges for many Microsoft partners. There's also a change in the competition. The field has become a little bit murky. You will face new competition, smaller vendors taking market share of you. And there's many reasons for that. But if you have, for example, good market share in your own native country, if you are not going international, you will have competition coming from international perspective because of the cloud and what the cloud enables organizations to do. And at the end of the day, what you have to do is you have to position yourself in the ecosystem. What is your role going to be in that ecosystem? And that's something that you can't ignore. And that's why, for example, partnering model will be a key question for you and your team going forward. If we look at the opportunities from a technology perspective, the increased interest and the increased market share of Windows Azure has created good opportunities for different partner types to build a business around Azure. And of course, with Azure run in the cloud, there's a increased demand in native Windows 8 and Windows 8 phone apps. So that's a good opportunity for many organizations. SharePoint, specifically the latest release 2.13, is creating huge amount of opportunities for organizations. The way SharePoint apps are now architected and the way it works with Windows Azure, it's a great way for many organizations to really take SharePoint platform and new application opportunities to the next level. I'm extremely excited about SharePoint and how that works with the rest of Microsoft technologies like Windows Azure. And of course, this is what I have been talking to a lot of partners. When you create solutions, create consumable solutions, think about how you as an organization can provide that service to the ecosystem. So we could say that that's webification process. And then something that not many organizations have been thinking about. So is your application going to be able to be purchased from a store? And what are the ramifications for that? How are you going to deal with the subscription, the billing process, and the rest of the things that has to do with enabling your solution? So there's a lot of things that you can be doing, but you have to pick your battles, and the business model canvas is a great tool to select your your battlefields. So let me explain a little bit more what we are seeing on the marketplace, why organizations are now suddenly interested in trying to get new business models. So in this case, I have two axes. I have the revenue axis and I have the time axis. And we can describe a life cycle of a company by using an S-curve. So let's assume that you have your first offering, and there's going to be a point in time when that offering is no longer going to be sold in the same pace as before, of many reasons, which I'm going to talk about. There are cases where you might be able to extend the life of your offering by going to new markets, maybe trying to get it into the channel, maybe selecting new market segments. But there's going to be a point in time when your business model has to change. And there are many reasons for that. Maybe your market has become saturated. Maybe the competition is really hurting you. Maybe there's a price erosion. Maybe your customer base is getting smaller because of acquisitions. And maybe you don't really have the skills anymore that is needed in the marketplace. That's also a big change for many organizations. So the question becomes, when should you look at a new offering? And as I said before, you don't always have to create everything from scratch. It could also be a redefinition of your business model. But if you decide to take the road of creating a new model, that's when business modeling becomes very important for you. So these are the types of questions that you have to answer yourself. Maybe it is already saturated. Maybe your local competition is really now taking your market share. So to start looking at the new offering or making a change in your business model, what we have used now very successfully with tens and tens of organizations, both small startups as well as multi-billion-dollar organizations. This business model canvas is based on this book, Business Model Generation by Dr. Osterwalder. This model has been built by hundreds of organizations that collaborated, and the end result is a business model canvas with 9 building blocks. And it's very visual, and as you can see from the picture, you will have canvases, use post-it notes to define things in the canvas itself. Now here is an example of LinkedIn business model. I'm not going to drill down too much in detail, but just to show you that these are the components, and the order of which you define these building blocks is going from value, identifying the customer segment, or if you already know the customer segment that you're going to be focused on, then you create the value proposition. So that's the most important step, looking at the value and the customer segment. You can use colors to identify different things, like in this case, I have multiple different types of market segments, and we can also call this for multi-site network effect. And you will define how you're going to approach your clientele, what kind of things that you should be looking at. Maybe you have a channel through which you will sell your solution. It could be an app store, it could be a channel partner. Then we look at the revenue streams. And if you look at the right-hand side of this canvas, this is the most important. If you don't get this side to work, it doesn't matter what you do on the left-hand side. Like key partners, who is going to help you with the delivery, key activities, what are we going to have to really focus on, key resources, what are the key resources that we need to be able to execute. And then finally, cost structure. So of course, cost and revenue streams, they have to be in balance, and hopefully revenue streams are going to be higher than the cost structure. So that's a typical end result of an analysis. So if we go back into the workshop itself that we're providing, so these are the objectives. So if we first look at who should be attending these types of workshops, because we are dealing with a business model, and creating a business model will require collaboration from every single functional unit within the company. So if you are in product development, you need to be there. If you are in product management, you need to be there. Sales, marketing, support, human resource delivery, consulting. anything that has to do with taking this product, this business model to the market. That's the power of the model. So what will happen during the session itself? The objective of this workshop is really to educate you to use the business model canvas, to ask the right questions, to look at existing models, or innovate new business models. We have had cases where when we did the workshop, the management of that organization wanted to go back to previous projects, both the failed ones and ensuring that the new ones are planned by using business model canvas. So why would you be interested in this? First of all, as I said before, the ecosystem is changing. There's a tremendous demand going from a traditional on-premise model into the cloud model. So you have to be adjusting your business, because otherwise your future will not be right. And you also need to be able to ask the right questions, and the business model canvas, when you have responded to each one of the 9 building blocks, then you know that you haven't forgot anything to take into consideration. That's the other thing that we have been finding in our workshops. It could be one building block, and if we ignore it, 0 times 9 is 0. So you have to have a balance there. So if we drill down in more detail in this workshop, what is going to happen in each stage. So the first stage is where we will interview you of your current business. We will identify potential scenarios, solutions, offerings that you want to be analyzing during the workshop itself. You might be sending some materials for us that we can study before the workshop itself. You might even show your current solution by presenting it to us before the workshop itself. We will also provide you with access to tellusacademy.com learning management system, where you can learn about the business model canvas. So when you get to the workshop itself, you already know how it works. So we can really quickly dig into the topic itself. And we will walk through each one of the building blocks during the session itself. So the value prop, the market segmentation. And this session can be either online or on site. And the deliverables in this session is that we will have your first cut of the business model canvas, and you will have a basic understanding of the business model canvas and how it can be used in the company. And you also will have the capability to redefine it and take it to the next stage. So when we all leave that workshop, what I would like then to happen is that you will take that canvas, and you will internally within your organization, you will redefine it, do new iterations, maybe do new pivots. And then in the phase 4, you can present it back to us online again. So we will then give feedback to you, what we feel about the changes that you made. So it's a process where you will learn in each one of the stages. So that's the 4 stages that we have included in this workshop model. And I said the actual workshop can be either on site or online. Now, some of the common findings that we've been identifying in our workshops. First of all, this model, business model canvas model, will work with any size of organization. It's perfect for startups that want to test their business model initially. But it's also extremely good for large organizations. And as I said, I've been running this with multi-billion-dollar organizations. Now, one thing that is common to all organizations that not many have thought about the operational changes that needs to take place when moving, for example, from on-premise environments into the cloud environment. Pricing is a huge issue with many organizations. But I have now identified that there isn't such a thing as a standard pricing for anything. I mean, it's always based on your business, always based on your current organization and the objectives, what you want to accomplish. It's all value based. So that's the common denominator. Sales compensation is also something that is pretty hard because you are having to make a choice what kind of sales model you will have if, for example, with your cloud solution. Are you going to have inside sales, or do you have field sales, or are you going to go through the channel? Many questions that you might have to answer. But it's never about technology. Almost ever about technology. Is always business related when we work in these workshops. Now, if I wanted to bring some feedback from different functional units, so I pulled some from marketing, some from sales, finance, and IT, and then cloud solutions. So these are the types of feedback that we are getting. This will solidify our plan. This Canvas framework is an excellent visual tool. This helps us to work with new product launches, go-to-market planning. A reality comes to vision. Now we have a shared understanding of across the team what we need to be doing. You can use this also to create actionable items, task lists. These are the things that we need to be doing going forward. And we bring industry knowledge. We bring best practices from the tens and tens of deliveries that we've been doing the past few years. And finally, I want to emphasize there isn't such a thing as perfect answer to a business model canvas. It's always a subjective view on our environment, on our business. But the common denominator here again is that you get aligned with the entire business team what we need to be doing going forward. And that's the biggest impact that you can have in this kind of a workshop. We also want you to let go from the past. Just look at the future, look at what you should be doing and how you can become even more successful going forward. So I hope to see you at our next workshop, and thank you so much for your attention, and talk to you soon. Bye.